The slap echoed through the marble lobby of First National Bank of Atlanta. "Ma'am, this line is for actual customers only. The welfare office is 3 blocks down on Martin Luther King Boulevard." Brittany Walsh's hand had moved faster than her judgment. The sharp sound of palm against cheek made every customer in the lobby turn and stare. Zara Johnson stood perfectly still, her face stinging but her expression unchanged. She wore faded jeans and worn sneakers. Her old backpack hung from one shoulder. She didn't touch her reddening cheek, didn't step backward, didn't raise her voice. Brittany's manicured finger pointed dismissively toward the glass doors. "Security! We need this person removed immediately!" Tyler Martinez pulled out his phone, hands shaking with adrenaline. This was about to explode across social media. Have you ever been struck by someone who had no idea they'd just made the biggest mistake of their career? Tyler hit the Instagram Live button. The screen showed 3 viewers as he angled his phone toward the counter. "Y'all see this?" he whispered into his device. "This crazy teller just slapped a customer. I got it all on camera." The red mark on Zara's left cheek was still visible under the bright lobby lights. Brittany crossed her arms, speaking even louder now. "Look, honey, you need a minimum $500 balance to even speak to management. Do you have an ID? A real address?" Zara reached into her backpack slowly. Her movements were calm, controlled. She pulled out a worn leather portfolio and set it gently on the marble surface. "I need to access my business accounts," she said quietly. "Before the system maintenance." The digital board above their heads flashed, "System maintenance in 47 minutes. Brittany rolled her eyes. "Ma'am, we can't just let anyone claim they have business accounts." Other customers were starting to notice. An elderly black woman shook her head in disgust. "Did she just hit that lady?" she asked loudly. A young white couple pulled out their phones. Tyler's viewer count climbed to 47. "This is getting good," someone commented on his stream. "That slap was an assault." "Call the police on the teller," another viewer typed. "She can't hit customers." The comments were already shifting. What started as potential customer bias was now clear employee assault. Brittany's voice carried across the lobby. "Sir, Mr. Morrison!" Chad Morrison approached from his glass office. He was 35, wearing a navy suit that probably cost more than most people's rent. His eyes swept over Zara dismissively. "What's the situation, Brittany?" "This individual is claiming to have business accounts. No appointment, no documentation." Chad didn't make eye contact with Zara. He spoke about her like she wasn't standing right there. "Ma'am, we have protocols. You can't just walk in claiming to own accounts without proper verification." Zara opened her leather portfolio. Inside were pristine documents, organized in clear plastic sleeves. Financial statements, legal papers. Everything looked official. "I have documentation," she said calmly. Chad glanced at the papers for exactly 3 seconds. "These could be fake. Anyone can print documents at Kinko's." Tyler's phone showed 156 viewers now. Comments were flying. "Did anyone else see that slap?" "Assault! Call 911. That teller needs to be arrested." Hashtag bank while black just became hashtag assault while black. Near the security desk, Damon Wright watched the scene unfold. He was 53, a black veteran with 20 years of military service. He'd seen the slap happen and was already reaching for his radio. Physical assault of customers violated every protocol he'd been trained on. But something about Zara's calm reaction made him pause. Most people would be screaming, calling police, and demanding justice. She just stood there, like she was waiting for something. "Sir," Brittany said to Chad, "should I call the police? She's clearly attempting some kind of fraud." The word police made several customers look up sharply. Tyler adjusted his phone angle to capture everything. 847 viewers and climbing, he whispered to his audience. "This is insane." Zara's request was simple. "I need to process payroll for my employees. The system goes down in 41 minutes. "Your employees?" Chad laughed. It wasn't a kind sound. Ma'am, small business owners don't typically... He gestured vaguely at her appearance. What's that supposed to mean? The elderly black woman called out from the line. Chad's face flushed. I didn't mean anything by that. But the damage was done. Other customers were paying attention now. Tyler's stream had hit 287 viewers. Zara pulled a small detail from her backpack. A keychain. Wharton MBA, class of 2008. She set it quietly beside her portfolio. Damon caught sight of it from across the room. His eyebrows raised slightly. Look, Chad said, trying to regain control. We need to verify your identity before we can discuss any accounts. I provided 3 forms of ID, Zara replied. Driver's license, passport, and business registration. Brittany leaned over to examine the documents. These look suspicious to me. How? Zara asked. They're just... I don't know, something's off. Tyler's chat was exploding. Racial profiling in real time. This is why I hate banks. Someone call the news. Where is this happening? A young black man in line pulled out his phone and started recording too. Then another customer. Soon, 3 different phones were capturing the interaction from different angles. Ma'am, Chad said firmly, I'm going to need you to step aside. You're disrupting our other customers. I'm not disrupting anyone, Zara replied. I'm trying to conduct a banking business. Security needs to escort this individual out, Chad announced loudly, before she disrupts legitimate customers. The word legitimate hung in the air like smoke. Damon shifted uncomfortably. He'd been told to watch for suspicious behavior, but Zara wasn't acting suspicious. She was acting professional, controlled, like someone accustomed to being in charge. Tyler's stream now had 421 viewers. Someone had shared it to Twitter. The hashtag #BankWhileBlack was starting to trend in Atlanta. This is getting crazy, Tyler whispered to his audience. Bank manager just called security on a black woman trying to make a deposit. But that wasn't exactly what happened. Tyler's viewers were seeing it filtered through his commentary. The story was already changing as it spread. Zara checked her watch. 39 minutes until system maintenance, she said quietly. Ma'am, you need to leave, Chad insisted. I need to complete a transaction, she replied. The standoff was getting tenser. More customers were watching. More phones were recording. The bank's quiet Friday afternoon had turned into a social media incident. And Zara Johnson stood at the center of it all, calm as still water, holding secrets that would change everything. Rebecca Stone's heels clicked across the marble floor. The district supervisor had been watching from her corner office, and things were getting out of hand. What's the situation here? She asked Chad. Tyler's live stream hit 892 viewers. Comments flooded in faster than he could read them. Call the news. This is discrimination. Get her name and badge number. Someone record everything. Rebecca was 42, wearing a sharp gray suit. She'd worked her way up through 15 years at First National. Her reputation was built on handling difficult situations quietly. Ma'am, she said to Zara, I understand there's been some confusion. No confusion, Zara replied evenly. I need to access my accounts before system maintenance. And we need proper verification, Rebecca said. I'm sure you understand our security protocols. The digital clock above them read, System maintenance in 28 minutes. Kevin Liu emerged from the back office. Branch operations manager, 29 years old, MBA from Georgia Tech. He'd heard the commotion and came to assess the situation. Now 4 bank employees surrounded Zara. Brittany, Chad, Rebecca, and Kevin formed a semicircle around the counter. Tyler adjusted his phone angle. Y'all, this is wild. 4 employees versus 1 customer. His viewer count, 1,247. Ma'am, Kevin said, we're going to need you to step away from the counter. I haven't finished my transaction, Zara replied. What transaction? Brittany interjected. You haven't proven you even have accounts here. A customer in line spoke up. She showed you 3 forms of ID. Sir, please don't interfere, Chad warned. But the damage was done. Other customers were taking sides. The elderly black woman moved closer. 2 college students started filming with their phones. "This is getting ridiculous," someone called out. Tyler's phone showed notifications popping up constantly. His stream was being shared across platforms. "Someone tagged the Atlanta Journal-Constitution," he whispered to his audience. Zara opened her portfolio again. She pulled out a document and placed it on the counter. "Business registration for Johnson Consulting Group, LLC." Rebecca examined it briefly. "This could be fabricated." "It has a Georgia state seal," Zara pointed out. "Those can be faked too," Kevin added. Damon Wright moved closer to the scene. His military training had taught him to read situations, and something was very wrong here. Not with Zara, with the bank's response. Professional people didn't stay this calm under pressure unless they had good reason to. "I have payroll processing in 26 minutes, Zara said, "for 847 employees. Brittany laughed out loud. 847 employees? Ma'am, you're wearing shoes with holes in them." Several customers gasped. Even Chad looked uncomfortable with Brittany's bluntness. Tyler's stream exploded. "Did she just say that? Someone get her manager. This is insane. Brittany needs to be fired." "That was uncalled for," the elderly woman said firmly. "Ma'am, please step back," Rebecca told the woman. But customers weren't stepping back. They were stepping forward. The situation was escalating beyond the bank's control. A young black man in a business suit approached the counter. "Excuse me, what's happening here?" "Sir, this is a private matter," Kevin said. "It's happening in public," the man replied. "She has a right to banking services." Tyler's phone showed 2,100 viewers now. Someone had shared his stream to Facebook. The hashtag #TadBankWhileBlack was trending across social media. "Look," Chad said, raising his voice, "we can't just take anyone's word that they have business accounts." "Why not?" Zara asked quietly. The question hung in the air. Chad opened his mouth, then closed it. He couldn't say what everyone was thinking. Rebecca stepped in. "Ma'am, no disrespect, but small business owners with 847 employees don't typically—" She gestured vaguely at Zara's appearance. "Dress like regular people?" Zara finished. The lobby fell silent for a moment. Kevin checked his watch. "System maintenance in 22 minutes. "Which is why I need to complete this transaction," Zara said. "What transaction?" Brittany demanded. "You still haven't told us what you want to do." "Transfer funds for payroll processing," Zara replied calmly. "How much?" Rebecca asked. $2.4 million. The number hit the lobby like a physical force. Several customers stopped what they were doing. Tyler's phone nearly slipped from his hands. $2.4 million? Kevin repeated. "For bi-weekly payroll," Zara confirmed. Brittany shook her head. "This is fantasy, pure fantasy." But Damon was watching Zara's body language. No tells, no fidgeting, no signs of deception. She stated the figure like someone discussing lunch plans. "Ma'am," Rebecca said slowly, "if you actually have access to that amount, we need to verify—" "I've provided verification," Zara interrupted. 3 forms of ID, business registration, and account documentation. "Which could all be fake," Chad insisted. Tyler's stream reached 3,400 viewers. Local news accounts were starting to pay attention. Someone had created a Twitter thread documenting the entire incident in real time. "Call corporate security," Kevin whispered to Chad. But Zara heard him. "That won't be necessary." "Ma'am, we decide what's necessary," Rebecca said firmly. The power dynamic was clear. 4 bank employees versus 1 customer. Professional attire versus worn clothes. Authority versus individual. Except Zara didn't look defeated. She looked patient. "I understand your position," she said quietly. You see someone who doesn't fit your expectations. It's not about expectations, Chad protested. Isn't it? Tyler's chat was moving too fast to follow. She's handling this perfectly. They're digging their own graves. Someone call the ACLU. This is going viral everywhere. A new customer entered the bank. Middle-aged white man in an expensive suit. He walked straight to the VIP counter without question. See, Brittany said to Zara. That's how legitimate customers behave. The contrast was deliberate and devastating. Damon had seen enough. He approached the group slowly, hands visible, body language non-threatening. Excuse me, he said to Rebecca. Ma'am, I think we should— Damon, please step back, Rebecca interrupted. We have this handled. But they didn't have it handled. They had a viral social media incident, a growing crowd of angry customers, and a woman who refused to be intimidated. System maintenance in 18 minutes, the display announced. Zara checked her watch. Then she looked directly at Kevin Liu. Mr. Liu, she said calmly, I need you to make a phone call. Ma'am, I'm not calling anyone for— Call Regional President Jonathan Hayes. Kevin's expression changed slightly. He recognized the name. Tell him, Zara continued, that Zara Johnson needs the Q3 board presentation materials. The lobby went quiet. Now. Kevin Liu's face was drained of color. He knew that name. Jonathan Hayes, Regional President of First National Banking Corporation. Kevin had seen it on quarterly reports, corporate emails, executive briefings. But why would a customer know the regional president personally? Ma'am, Kevin said slowly, I can't just disturb executives for— You can, Zara interrupted gently. And you will. Tyler's live stream showed 4,200 viewers now. Comments were flying faster than anyone could read. Who is Jonathan Hayes? She knows executives? Plot twist incoming. Google her name right now. Brittany crossed her arms defiantly. This is ridiculous. Kevin, don't fall for this scam. Yeah, Chad agreed. She's probably just name-dropping random executives. But Kevin was studying Zara's face. Something in her expression had shifted. Not demanding, not desperate, just certain, like someone who expected to be obeyed. Rebecca stepped closer. Kevin, you're not seriously considering— Making the call, Kevin finished, his voice tight. The lobby fell silent except for the quiet hum of air conditioning and Tyler's whispered commentary. Y'all, something big is about to happen, Tyler told his audience. This lady just name-dropped some executive like she owns the place. Kevin dialed with shaking hands. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times. Hayes. The voice came through clearly on speakerphone. Deep, authoritative, slightly impatient. Mr. Hayes, this is Kevin Liu, branch operations at Atlanta Central. I'm sorry to disturb you, but we have a situation with someone claiming to be— Kevin paused, swallowing hard. Someone claiming to be Zara Johnson. Dead silence. Tyler held his breath. His 4,800 viewers waited. The lobby was so quiet you could hear individual keyboard clicks from other tellers. When Jonathan Hayes spoke again, his voice had completely changed. Lower. Careful. I almost panicked. Kevin, tell me you didn't just say what I think you said. Sir? Put her on the phone. Right now. Immediately. Chad's mouth fell open. Rebecca took a step back. Brittany looked around wildly, as if searching for hidden cameras. Kevin handed Zara the phone with trembling fingers. Jonathan, Zara said calmly, your Atlanta branch staff needs immediate retraining on customer service protocols. Ms. Johnson. Hayes's voice was tight with controlled panic. I am profoundly, deeply sorry. Whatever you need, whatever happens, we'll make it right immediately. Please tell me this isn't as bad as I think it is. Tyler's stream exploded. Oh, snap! She knows him personally. First name basis. Heads are about to roll. Rebecca was frantically typing on her phone. Google search. Zara Johnson First National Bank. The loading icon spun, slower than usual. The lobby's Wi-Fi was struggling under the weight of multiple people live streaming. Then the results loaded. Rebecca's eyes widened in horror. Forbes 40 under 40. Black Enterprise Executive of the Year. Chief Executive Officer, First National Banking Corporation. Net worth estimated at... She stopped reading aloud, but her face said everything. We'll discuss consequences after I complete my transaction, Zara told Hayes. Of course, absolutely. Anything you need. Kevin is authorized to handle whatever you require. Full access, no questions asked. Thank you. Zara handed the phone back to Kevin. Hayes was still talking rapidly. Kevin, you give Ms. Johnson anything she requests. Anything. Whatever she wants. And I want a full incident report on my desk within 1 hour. Do you understand me? Yes, sir, Kevin whispered. 1 hour, Kevin. This cannot wait. The line went dead. Kevin stared at his phone like it might explode. His hands were visibly shaking now. Tyler's viewer count hit 6,100. Someone in the chat had found Zara's Wikipedia page and was posting screenshots in real time. Guys, she's the CEO. She literally owns this bank. Brittany is so fired. This is better than Netflix. But Brittany was still in complete denial. This is some elaborate scam. People can fake phone calls, voice imitators, technology. You think someone hacked into Jonathan Hayes' direct line? Zara asked quietly. Brittany had no answer for that. Zara reached into her backpack again. This time she pulled out a small device, professional-grade digital recorder with LED indicators showing active recording. This conversation has been documented under Georgia's one-party consent law, she said quietly. Everything that happened here today is legally admissible evidence in court proceedings. Rebecca was still reading her phone, her voice shaking as she read aloud. Chief Executive Officer, $847 million annual revenue, majority shareholder, youngest black woman to lead a major banking corporation. Chad grabbed Rebecca's phone and read over her shoulder. His face went completely white. Wait, he said slowly, his voice barely audible. She actually owns this bank? 51.3% voting control, Zara confirmed casually. Damon Wright had moved closer during the commotion. He'd heard enough to understand exactly what was happening. His military instincts had been absolutely right. Ma'am, he said to Zara, approaching respectfully, I sincerely apologize for my colleague's unprofessional behavior. Zara nodded at him with genuine respect. You handled yourself with dignity, Mr. Wright. I noticed that. The fact that she knew his name sent another shockwave through the group. How long had she been watching? How much did she know about each of them? Tyler was practically whispering into his phone now. Y'all, I think this lady literally owns this entire bank. My chat is going absolutely crazy with screenshots of her Wikipedia page. More customers had gathered around the scene. Word was spreading through the lobby like wildfire. Phones were out everywhere, creating a forest of recording devices. Kevin found his voice, though it cracked slightly. Ms. Johnson, how can we... What do you need us to... Complete my transaction, Zara said simply. Transfer $2.4 million for bi-weekly payroll processing, same as I requested 20 minutes ago. Kevin's fingers flew over his keyboard now. Account lookup, executive access codes, VIP customer protocols he'd never actually used before. Johnson Consulting Group, LLC, he read aloud, his voice growing stronger as he found familiar ground in banking procedures. Current account balance. His voice caught in his throat. $14.7 million. Brittany actually staggered backward, grabbing the counter for support. That's just one of 17 business accounts, Zara added conversationally. Rebecca was frantically scrolling through more search results. Board of Directors, Banking Industry Leadership Award, Harvard Business Review featured an executive, Time Magazine's most influential. Tyler's stream reached 8,000 viewers. Local news stations were starting to pick up the story from social media. Hashtag bank, while black was trending nationally now. But why? Chad asked, his voice barely audible. Why are you dressed like... Why didn't you just identify yourself? Like what? Zara asked, her tone remaining perfectly calm. He couldn't finish the sentence, couldn't say what he'd been thinking. I conduct quarterly assessments of our branch locations, Zara explained patiently. Mystery shopper evaluations, customer service quality assessments, employee bias training effectiveness. Today was Atlanta Central's scheduled assessment day. The revelation hit like a physical blow. This wasn't random. This wasn't a coincidence. This was planned, deliberate. A corporate audit disguised as a regular banking transaction. And they had failed spectacularly on every possible level. You've been recording everything? Rebecca asked weakly. Zara tapped the small device, then gestured to her backpack. Audio and video. The backpack contains a hidden camera system, standard corporate audit equipment, same setup we use at all 340 branch locations. Tyler's chat was moving so fast the individual comments blurred together. Undercover boss, real life. They're all getting fired. This is better than any TV show. Someone call CNN. Brittany was shaking her head repeatedly, like she could make reality go away through sheer denial. This can't be real. This can't be happening to me. But it was happening. And it was being broadcast live to thousands of people across multiple platforms. Kevin was pulling up more account information, his professional training finally kicking in despite the shock. Ms. Johnson, your accounts show multiple seven-figure balances across various business entities. Some are 8 figures, Zara corrected matter-of-factly. The lobby had gone completely silent except for the sound of rapid typing and whispered phone conversations as more people looked up Zara's background. System maintenance in 12 minutes, the display announced automatically. Which is why, Zara said calmly, I need to complete this payroll transfer immediately. 847 employees are depending on their paychecks being processed on time. Kevin's hands were steadier now as he accessed the wire transfer system. Yes, ma'am, absolutely. I'll process this right away. But Zara held up one hand. Not quite yet. Everyone frozen. First, I want to address what happened here today. What really happened? What does this mean? Tyler adjusted his phone angle to capture everything. His stream had reached 11,000 viewers and climbing. This wasn't about money, Zara continued. It wasn't about paperwork or procedures or security protocols. She looked directly at each bank employee in turn. This was about assumptions, about seeing someone who didn't fit your mental image of success and deciding they didn't belong here. The words hung in the air like smoke. No one could deny them. Everything had been recorded in high definition. But you haven't seen the full scope of this situation yet, Zara added quietly. She reached into her backpack one final time and pulled out a thick folder. Official letterhead. Legal documents with corporate seals. As majority shareholder with 51.3% voting control of First National Banking Corporation, she said, and as Chief Executive Officer of this institution, I have the authority to implement immediate policy changes across all branch locations. Tyler's stream hit 13,000 viewers. The story was spreading to TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn simultaneously. What kind of policy changes? Kevin asked, his voice barely above a whisper. System maintenance in 8 minutes, the display warned again. We'll discuss that, Zara said, after I complete my transaction. System maintenance in 6 minutes, the display flashed. Zara opened her legal folder on the marble counter. The documents inside were pristine, organized with the precision of someone who understood corporate power structures. Let's discuss immediate consequences, she said quietly. Tyler's stream hit 15,000 viewers. Comments flooded faster than anyone could process. This is getting real. She's about to drop the hammer. Corporate justice incoming. Brittany run. Kevin's fingers hovered over the transfer screen, but he was watching Zara's face, waiting for instructions from someone who clearly outranked everyone in the building. Ms. Walsh, Zara said, looking directly at Brittany, your employment contract with First National Banking Corporation, Section 4.2, states, discriminatory behavior toward any customer, regardless of race, gender, or socioeconomic status, constitutes immediate grounds for termination. She had memorized the employee handbook, word for word. Brittany's face went pale. I didn't discriminate. I was following security protocols. Which protocols? Zara asked calmly. The one where you refused to touch a customer's deposit slip? The one where you directed a black woman to the welfare office? The one where you assumed someone wearing worn clothes couldn't have legitimate banking business? Each question hit like a physical blow. Brittany had no answers. Those aren't protocols, Zara continued. Those are personal biases manifesting as discriminatory actions. Rebecca stepped forward desperately. Ms. Johnson, I'm sure we can resolve this through retraining. We're past retraining, Zara interrupted. This represents systematic failure across multiple management levels. She pulled out a specific document. Legal letterhead with corporate seals. First National Banking Corporation, total assets, $2.4 billion, 340 branch locations, 12,000 employees, 2.3 million customers across 6 states. Real numbers, precise figures, corporate scale that puts individual jobs in perspective. Mr. Morrison, she addressed Chad, as branch manager, you're responsible for customer service culture. Management Handbook, Chapter 12. Assume positive intent, verify respectfully, de-escalate conflicts. Chad's voice cracked. I was trying to support my team by escalating a situation that should have been resolved in 30 seconds, Zara finished, by allowing racial bias to drive decision-making, by creating a hostile environment for a customer. Tyler's audience was hanging on every word. She knows every rule. They're getting destroyed. This is legal expertise. CEO mode activated. Ms. Stone, Zara turned to Rebecca, district supervisors are evaluated on branch performance metrics. Your quarterly review is scheduled for next week. Rebecca's hands were shaking. Yes, ma'am. How do you think this incident reflects on your leadership effectiveness? No answer. There was no good answer. Zara spread 3 more documents across the counter. Corporate policies, federal banking regulations, legal compliance requirements. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation requires documented bias training for all customer-facing employees, she read aloud. Annual compliance certifications, mystery shopper evaluations, incident reporting systems. Kevin was frantically taking notes now, trying to keep up with the legal requirements. Current compliance status for Atlanta Central Branch? Zara asked. Kevin checked his computer. Last bias training was 18 months ago. Federal requirement is annual, Zara noted. Current mystery shopper scores? We don't have recent scores, Rebecca admitted. Incident reporting system status? Silence. Non-existent, Zara concluded, which means this branch is operating in violation of federal banking regulations. Tyler's stream reached 18,000 viewers. Someone had shared it to Reddit and it was climbing the front page. The cost of federal investigation for systematic discrimination, Zara continued, averages $47 million minimum. Legal fees, compliance audits, potential license suspension. She let that number sink in. Alternative, comprehensive reform program. Estimated cost, $2.8 million across all branch locations. Real math. Corporate decision-making is based on fiscal reality rather than emotions. System maintenance in 3 minutes, the display warned. Mr. Liu, Zara said to Kevin, process the payroll transfer now. $2.4 million to Johnson Consulting Group payroll account. Kevin's fingers flew over the keyboard. Yes, ma'am. Processing immediately. But Zara wasn't finished. "Here are the immediate policy changes, effective Monday morning," she announced. She pulled out a prepared document. This had been planned down to the last detail. First, mandatory implicit bias training for all 12,000 employees within 90 days. Professional facilitators, not online modules. Documented completion required for continued employment. Brittany was quietly crying now, understanding her job was over. Second, monthly mystery shopper program implementation. Anonymous customers will evaluate service quality with specific focus on equity and inclusion. Results tied to management performance reviews. Rebecca took notes frantically, trying to salvage her career. Third, equity-first mobile app development. Customers can report discrimination anonymously. Reports auto-route to the executive team within 48 hours. Response time tracked and published quarterly. Tyler's chat was exploding. She came prepared. This is systematic change. Real reform happening. Corporate accountability. Fourth, manager rotation program. No branch leadership remains in a single location longer than 18 months. Prevents insular culture development. Chad was writing everything down, though his hands were shaking. Fifth, community advisory boards. Local leaders review branch policies quarterly. Direct feedback mechanism to corporate headquarters. Transfer completed successfully, Kevin announced. $2.4 million processed. Thank you, Zara said. Now, the implementation timeline. She looked around the silent lobby. Tyler's phone showed 20,000 viewers and climbing. Ms. Walsh, your employment is terminated immediately. Security will escort you out. Final paycheck will include severance as required by your contract. Brittany opened her mouth to protest, but Damon Wright was already approaching. "Ma'am, please gather your personal items," he said gently but firmly. "Mr. Morrison, 30-day suspension without pay. Upon return, you'll complete mandatory management sensitivity certification. Failure to pass results in termination." Chad nodded miserably. "Ms. Stone, reassignment to the corporate training division. Effective demotion, but employment maintained contingent on successful program implementation." Rebecca looked relieved despite the demotion. She still had a job. "Mr. Liu, formal reprimand in your personnel file. You'll oversee local implementation of these changes. Consider it a development opportunity." Kevin straightened slightly. This could actually advance his career if he handled it well. "Implementation deadline, 90 days, Zara concluded. "Progress reports due weekly. Non-compliance results in federal intervention." She gathered her documents efficiently. "Questions?" No one spoke. Tyler's stream had reached 22,000 viewers. #bank. While Black was trending nationally. Local news stations were calling the bank's main number. "Excellent," Zara said. "Mr. Wright, please escort Miss Walsh out. Everyone else, I expect a comprehensive action plan on my desk Monday morning." She zipped up her backpack and headed toward the door. "Ms. Johnson," Kevin called out desperately, "how will we know if we're meeting expectations?" Zara paused at the door and looked back. "You won't know when I'm watching," she said quietly. "That's the point." "System maintenance begins now," the display announced. But the real maintenance, fixing a broken system, was just getting started. Tyler ended his live stream as Zara walked out the door. His final comment to 24,000 viewers: "Y'all just witnessed history." 3 months later, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution ran a front-page story. "Banking While Black: How One Incident Changed an Industry." The video had been viewed 12.3 million times across all platforms. #bank While Black became a case study in business schools nationwide. But more important than viral fame were the measurable changes. Jonathan Hayes stood at the podium of the Atlanta Press Club, facing 24 reporters and camera crews. "First National Banking Corporation failed Ms. Johnson and our community," he said directly. We accept full responsibility and have implemented comprehensive reforms. Behind him, a PowerPoint slide showed concrete results. 12,000 employees completed bias training. 340 branches underwent mystery shopper evaluations. Customer satisfaction increased 23% across all locations. Real numbers, verifiable progress. The Equity First mobile app launched last month, Hayes continued. We've received 847 anonymous reports and responded to 100% within 48 hours. In the audience, Zara Johnson sat quietly in the back row. She wore a sharp business suit now, her CEO attire reflecting her public role, but she listened more than she spoke. Questions? Hayes opened the floor. A reporter from WSB-TV raised her hand. What happened to the employees involved in the original incident? Brittany Walsh's employment was terminated per company policy. Chad Morrison completed sensitivity training and remains on probation. Rebecca Stone now leads our corporate training division. Kevin Liu received a promotion to Regional Customer Experience Manager. The consequences had been swift but proportional. Termination for the worst offender. Rehabilitation for others who showed capacity for change. The $5 million Diversity Initiative Fund has awarded grants to 23 local organizations, Hayes added. Community advisory boards are operational in all 6 states. Damon Wright now headed branch security training across the Southeast region. His military background and moral instincts made him perfect for teaching others to recognize the difference between genuine security concerns and unconscious bias. 6 months ago, I almost made the biggest mistake of my career, he told trainees at orientation sessions. I almost stayed silent when I knew something was wrong. Don't make that choice. Tyler Martinez became an unexpected advocate for social justice. His live stream that day launched a career in digital activism. He now had 340,000 followers and used his platform to document similar incidents across the country. Real-life stories matter, he told his audience regularly. Black stories, touching stories, authentic stories. When we witness injustice, we have a responsibility to speak up. His original video was preserved in the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture as part of their digital civil rights collection. The Mystery Shopper program revealed problems at 23% of First National's branches, but it also identified best practices at high-performing locations. Customer feedback showed the changes were working. Staff treated me with respect from the moment I walked in. No assumptions, no judgments, just professional service. Finally, a bank that sees customers as people first. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation cited First National's reforms as a model for the industry. 3 other major banks proactively implemented similar programs rather than wait for regulatory pressure. The ripple effect extends beyond banking, noted Dr. Angela Davis, a business ethics professor at Emory University. When corporations demonstrate that bias has real consequences, it changes workplace culture industry-wide. But the most significant change was quieter, more personal. Branch managers now asked different questions during staff meetings. Instead of, "How many accounts did we open?" they asked, "How did we make customers feel welcomed?" Performance reviews included customer equity ratings alongside sales metrics. Bonuses reflected inclusive service, not just profitable transactions. New employee training emphasized dignity over suspicion. Assume positive intent became more than a motto. It became a measurable policy. The community response was overwhelmingly positive. First National's community lending increased 340% as trust was rebuilt. Local businesses opened accounts. Families who had banked elsewhere for generations returned. Change happened because someone refused to accept injustice, said Reverend Marcus Williams of Ebenezer Baptist Church. But more importantly, change happened because systems were put in place to prevent it from happening again. 6 months after the incident, Zara conducted another unannounced visit to the Atlanta Central branch. This time, she dressed professionally. Business suit, corporate ID visible. She wanted to test normal service, not biased responses. Kevin Liu greeted her personally. "Ms. Johnson, welcome back. How can we assist you today?" The transformation was remarkable. The staff moved efficiently but respectfully. Customers of all backgrounds received equal attention. The atmosphere was professional rather than judgmental. "Excellent work," she told Kevin privately. "This is what banking should look like." The intellectual victory had produced lasting change, not through anger or confrontation, but through strategic thinking, legal leverage, and systematic reform. Sometimes the most powerful response to discrimination isn't emotional, Zara reflected in a Harvard Business Review interview. It's structural. Change the systems, and individual behavior follows. The banking industry has learned a crucial lesson. Diversity isn't just morally right, it's fiscally smart. Inclusive environments serve customers better, reduce legal risks, and strengthen community relationships. Real-life stories like Zara's proved that one person with preparation and principles could create institutional change affecting millions of people. 1 year later, Zara Johnson received the Presidential Medal of Freedom for advancing civil rights through corporate accountability. But she didn't need awards to measure success. The real victory was visible every day across 340 branch locations. Strategic patience changed more lives than immediate anger ever could, she reflected during her acceptance speech. Sometimes the most powerful weapon against bias isn't confrontation, it's preparation. The numbers told the story. 0 discrimination complaints across First National's network for 8 consecutive months. Employee satisfaction up 34%. Customer retention at an all-time high. Community lending approaches $1 billion annually. Other industries took notice. Tech companies implemented similar bias training. Retail chains adopted mystery shopper equity programs. Healthcare systems created anonymous reporting mechanisms. "One person with a plan can move mountains," became Zara's signature message. But only if that plan includes systematic change, not just individual accountability. The video of that Friday afternoon at Atlanta Central Bank was now required viewing in business ethics courses nationwide. Students analyzed not just what happened, but how Zara handled it. "She could have exposed them immediately," noted Professor Sarah Bennett at Stanford Business School. "Instead, she let them expose themselves. Then she used corporate structure to create lasting change." Tyler Martinez, now a full-time social justice advocate, regularly interviewed Zara for his podcast series, Real-Life Stories That Changed Everything. "You proved that quiet strength can accomplish more than loud anger," he told her during their latest conversation. "Anger has its place," Zara replied, "but strategy has staying power." The lesson resonated far beyond banking. When people faced discrimination, they had a new playbook. Document everything, know the rules, use systems to create change. Black Voices Uncut wasn't just about individual stories anymore. It was about showing how ordinary people could create extraordinary impact through intelligent resistance. Zara's approach became a template. Prepare thoroughly. Document systematically. Know your rights. Use legal frameworks. Think strategically. Create lasting change. "Every person watching this has witnessed injustice," Zara said during her final interview about the incident. "The question isn't whether discrimination exists. The question is what we do when we see it." She looked directly into the camera. "You have more power than you realize. Know the rules. Use the systems. Create accountability. One prepared person can change an entire industry." The banking incident proved that individual actions could produce institutional reform, but only when those actions were strategic, not just emotional. "True power doesn't announce itself loudly," Zara concluded. "It works quietly, systematically, permanently." Have you witnessed discrimination in professional settings? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience matters. Your voice can create change. Real-life stories like Zara's prove that strategic thinking defeats bias more effectively than anger alone. These touching stories of quiet resistance inspire systematic reform. Subscribe to Black Voices Uncut for more stories of strategic resistance and institutional change. Hit the notification bell to never miss how ordinary people create extraordinary impact through preparation and principle. Share this video with 3 people who need to see that intellectual strength can move mountains. Tag someone who inspires you to stand up for justice through smart action, not just emotional reaction. When you know who you are, nobody can tell you who you aren't. When you know the rules, nobody can deny you justice. When you think strategically, you can change the world. Black Voices Uncut. Real stories, real change, real power.